So how about a little help with understanding what the hell is going on with those idiots? Would be very nice. Actually, let's look in the event thing and see if there's not anything going on that would explain this. We've got a bunch of upgrades there. Let's see. Oh, that's the French Empire stuff. We want South Africa. Those are all upgrades. Come on. South Africa had the Natal Covenant, whatever that is. The people of the South African Federation declared independence from South Africa. Rhodesia declared independence from South Africa. South African Federation had the Cape Government. Rhodesia entered a military alliance with the South African Federation. The South African Federation declared war upon South Africa. And Rhodesia joined the war on their side, and a bunch of people jumped in on various sides. Let's see, so whatever this Natal Covenant event is, it resulted in the South African Federation and Rhodesia breaking away, forming an alliance, and going to war with South Africa. I have no idea what's going on there, but it should be interesting. That much I can say. It should be interesting. And now we can just start doing some agriculture research to get that up to modern standards. Because that's the theme with a lot of the research that we are doing as Imperial China. Get our shit up to modern standards, because we are tragically backwards in many ways. Even more so than Russia was, which I'm going to probably be doing that a lot through the course of this LP, just comparing our technological and so on state to the way Russia was during that Let's Play. Just because the only other LP I've done of this game on the channel is with Russia, so they're the obvious one to compare it to. Pocket Defense Doctrine is done. So now, Armor Division formation, I think. You can do that. And get me started on the thing. I think that's something we need to be able to build tanks, if I remember correctly, but I could be wrong. And the French Empire annexed the Tuareg Confederation. Well, that didn't last long. Been nice knowing you, Guinea, Tuareg Confederation. But with them out of the way, Guinea is quite thoroughly fucked. Because France is just basically going to march in and take all their shit. Static anti-air artillery is done. I'll deal with that in a second. Research anti-air 1918 now. And now we have a major event to do with the Ottoman Empire, because Kurdistan has just broken away and declared their independence from the Ottomans, who have subsequently declared war on them. Now, this could lead to a number of things, depending on what the reaction that we get from Egypt, Hashemite Arabia, and Persia is. Whether Cyprus decides to react to this by revolting, or anything like that, if any other foreign powers get involved, and just how much trouble the Ottomans have quelling this revolt. Depending on all those things, this could go a number of different ways, as I have seen games where the Ottomans have actually failed to put down the Kurdish uprising. They've just straight up failed to do that. And as a result of that failure, the Ottomans have ended up recognizing Kurdish independence, or being conquered and partitioned between Persia, Hashemite Arabia, and Egypt. If they failed badly enough and those three got involved, the Ottomans basically got divided up among those couple of guys. Or, that is to say, their Middle Eastern territories got divided up. They usually ended up keeping a good chunk of Anatolia, although everything in, like, those 4 territories there, and maybe a bit down here, usually ended up going to Kurdistan, who joined that alliance, so I'll be keeping a loose eye on the situation over there, even though it will not affect me as China. It's something that I should have an eye on, because it'll be very interesting to watch things unfold, and I can do so quite safely. What's this? The Ottomans declared war on Oman. It's very interesting. Oman is actually a puppet of the Ottomans at the start. So, let's see here. How are things going? Oman joined the war against Kurdistan. Tripolitania joined the war. The King of Albania, who started as a puppet of the Ottoman Empire, was overthrown. And the Ottomans have just decided to recognize this new guy as their king. In other words, Albania is no longer a puppet. Oman decided to declare complete independence in their status, left the alliance, and accepted white peace with the Kurds. And the Ottomans have decided to crush them, and have declared war upon Oman. Tripolitania has joined in. So, things in the Middle East are deteriorating quite fast, but it's nothing to do with me. It's China. That will never come to affect me. All the way over here in the Far East. What is this? Egypt has declared war on the Ottoman Empire? So yes, the Arabian Axis, as they call themselves, have just started their war to drive the Ottomans out of the Middle East. That could go any number of different ways, and I'll be keeping an eye on it. It'll be very interesting to watch how things develop. As I said before, it does not affect me in the slightest. Because being on the other side of the world to the Ottoman Empire, I have no diplomatic relations with them whatsoever. So I can just sort of stand by and watch things unfold. And things for the Ottomans are disintegrating further. Partisans rising up all over. In addition to that, they have massive revolt risk all over the territories that these people want them out of, with the exception of a couple. And Kurdish control is spreading. And Libya has joined the war against the Ottomans. Formerly Libya, formerly Tripolitania, that is. Intellectuals give support to the Kuomintang? Again? I thought you idiots had learned your lesson. You support the Kuomintang, I throw your asses in jail. End of discussion. These people just do not learn. They really do not learn. I could wait till September to get some more troops, or I could go to war now. It's only 2 months. I'll wait till September for my next wave of troops to throw onto the border. And then I'll start the war. I think. Because regardless, even if they have a handful more troops than we think, we badly outnumber the Republic of China. So we can just win by throwing numbers at them. The traditional Russian strategy, as I like to call it, of just drown your enemy in corpses. And we're going to employ that against the Republic of China. And we will undoubtedly end up employing it against Japan in the future, because a war with Japan is pretty much inevitable. We need to retake the Fentian Republic and this whole region, and drive the Japanese off the mainland. Unfortunately, Siberia makes matters somewhat difficult, because my next target after them, which will be a long while, as I'll be doing some industrial expansion, my next target will be Mongolia. And once we take them out, we will share a rather large border with the Japanese. Or rather, with their puppet, as for the most part, as we'll only share 2 provinces. As with them, as we currently do. Early agricultural research is done. That'll give us some more industrial efficiency. Total and supplies. I'm going to keep researching down that until we get to the modern version, I think. And we are continuing to upgrade our divisions to a modern standard. 19. A Brigade 1918 is done. Anti-Air 1924 and Tankette 1929. Tankette is the armored car, by the way. South African Republic annexed Rhodesia, meaning the South African Federation is now all alone against them, and they don't appear to be doing too well. I'll keep an eye on things, but I don't like South African Federation's chances. Now, how are things in America? Well, apparently the United States federal government is not out of the running just yet. They've retaken most of New England and have a good chunk of the central United States back under their control. I can't say the same thing about the CSA, though. They are well and truly dead, scattered all over without a snowball's chance in hell. But the Union State is doing well for themselves, as is the Pacific States, who have all but conquered Mexico at this point. Turkestan annexes the Alash Order, so that would be the Grand Turkestani Empire. right there. They're probably just going to decide to keep it all. This is merely the first step in rebuilding the Caliphate. Well, if you come after me, Turkestan, I will have plenty of warm bodies to throw at you. Just bear that in mind, won't you? There's a good lad. Let's see. Denmark gave Iceland independence. That's nice. And the Ottomans have made peace. Let's see. They didn't even lose all that much. They lost, like, the Gaza, Israel sort of area of the modern day, I think. Maybe plus or minus a few little provinces, but... Oh, I take that back. Egypt has grown massively. Kurdistan has their independence, even if they're divided up by a few provinces. And the Ottoman Empire is confined to what, with the exception of these couple of provinces here, I believe is the borders of modern-day Turkey. And under the circumstances, the French Empire annexed the last rebellious state. As Hashemite Arabia apparently took that stuff because they demanded something for their contributions, I guess. Is why they got that. Let's see here. We've got another division to deploy. Anyways, yeah, the Ottomans were thoroughly beaten there. Thoroughly beaten. And now I'm just waiting on a few more divisions to come through before I go to war with the Republic of China. And that'll be next month. Armor division formation is done. Let's see. I was under land doctrines. 1940 defense depth. We're gonna have to pick a different research stream. I think it's finally time to start doing some naval research, because I foresee we will eventually need to have a fleet to be able to try and defend ourselves against Japan. Cyprus has decided to go for reunification with Greece. They're back in Greek control. Can't say the same for Crete, though, which remains a puppet of the German Empire. Very much so. Turkestan has decided they want to go after Russia. Yeah, you have fun with that, Turkestan. Go ahead and conquer Russia. I'm rooting you on. Just ignore me for the time being until I can get my very big army onto your border and discourage you through the clever use of my boomsticks. Yes, I'm referring to our guns as boomsticks. Deal with it. deploy those divisions there. Oh, we have one more. Put you there. Infantry upgrades are coming through just as we need them to. One more and then everyone will have at least 5 divisions. Let's see. Interwar something artillery. And I can start the research into the tankette. So that we can get that next level of tank researched. Excellent. Early mechanization is done. That'll be a little more efficiency for our industry. Next level, please. Work on the industry for the time being. Intellectuals supporting the Kuomintang. Again, seriously, cut it out, people. Alright, we're going to need to pump a little more into consumer goods. Start reducing that descent. I'll be able to reduce the consumer goods once we get it down a good deal. PSA just annexed Mexico. Sorry, Mexico, you should not have declared war on California. Now, let's see. What's they decide to do? United States just annexed the PSA. They decided to rejoin the Union. Now, what happens depends entirely on if the Civil War goes to the Union State or the federal government. Because the US federal government is currently in control of Mexico. Which is going to be a huge blow to the quote-unquote syndicalist cause. For the very simple reason that, with the exception of Brazil, they're Brazil, who gives a damn? Sorry, Brazilians, but in the grand scheme of Kaiserreich, you don't really matter. Anyways, with the exception of Brazil, Mexico was the only syndicalist nation on either of the American continents. So that's a huge blow to their efforts to spread their philosophy and belief system around. A massive blow. Truly enormous. But they are going to feel that. Now, how's our upgrades looking? We don't need any upgrades. Handy. Or reinforcements. I'll bump up the amount of production we can do. As much as I can. and right now we're able to sustain 15% of it. Still end of January before we can get anything out, but oh well. The government nationalizes the private sector, more efficiency for 1 dissent. I could really do to be losing dissent instead of gaining it right now. But you can't have everything in life, I guess. The Union State annexed the CSA. Unsurprisingly, seeing as the CSA was basically dead, that just formalizes things. Modern agriculture project is done. Agriculture in 1928. Now, once this finishes, we are 1 project away from having modern agricultural technology. And then we can focus on modernizing other sectors of our country. And we can show those bloody Kuomintang supporters that this government most certainly can modernize. And we are working on it. They're just too goddamn impatient. They want to have their cake and eat it. Not all that jazz. And yes, indeed. The Union State is being pushed back. 2 of our researches are done, and we have war in India. Interceptor 1937 is done. I'll work a little bit on our carrier aircraft, but I don't think we'll be making use of them because those require us to have. They require us to have carriers, and that's not going to happen anytime soon. Basic decryption is done. We can't do improved computing yet because that's a bit ahead of its time for us. Analog fire control and teleprinter, on the other hand, those are very, very possible research options. So I'll go for analog fire control for now, since we have a blueprint there. And we may as well make use of our blueprint. Interwar light cruiser is done. Naval tree, we are going to be hitting hard. Once we finally decide to start producing warships for our fleet, I want them to be modern warships. And this is part of that effort. Apparently a little skirmish in Iceland, and with a blockade and all, has led to a war between Canada and the Union of Britain. This ought to be interesting. Usually Canada doesn't go to war with the Union of Britain until 1939 or 1940, i.e. around the time the Second Weltkrieg kicks off between the German Empire and the French. But this time it's happened early. I wonder what that will mean. We'll see. We will see. I think we've done enough waiting. A few more divisions, and it's not going to make that much difference. "1% dissent for declaring war on the Republic of China." I'm willing to accept that. Now we begin our attack. hit them everywhere we can. In a couple places, even from multiple angles. Attack them there, and there, and there, and there. And of course, there are a few places where we're not. There's like 1 or 2 places we're not attacking because we'd have to cross another province to do it. I'm going to drop us down to fast speed for this, and that was a misclick on my part. Cheyenne, where's that? And now we commence with a massive offensive across the entire front. The war against the Republic of China has well and truly commenced. I will invest in war propaganda, reduce our dissent, and influence the attitude to stand united and win this war. Buy war bonds, support your nation in the Great Chinese Unification War, fist in air, dramatic pose and all that. Yes, yes. I'm also going to take the opportunity to make a rather substantial investment in our industry. I should have done that earlier, as a matter of fact. We're going to start boosting that to that sort of thing.